According to my next guest, that disagreement over her new pair of shoes or his expensive gadget for the garage, that may be about more than just money. So how can you stop fighting about money and uncover what's really behind your financial battles? Psychologist and Studio 5 contributor Dr. Liz Hale is here to talk love and money and help couples understand each other a bit better. It's always so great to have you.
Shoes and gadgets. Have you been listening in?
Is that it? I know. Is that your home too? Because that's my home.
Oh yeah, we have some conversations.
It's funny, there are similarities that play out, I think, couple to couple. You always hear the phrase, it's never about what it's really about.
Right.
You believe that applies to this topic of finances.
Yep. Talking about money is never about money. It's usually about our differences, and it's not the dollars that lead to our difficulties, and that's really the key. Is there's the meaning of money, and then there is what's the meaning, and then there's the actuality of the dollars of money. So it's almost like we need a marriage therapist and a financial planner. You know, I'm a big fan of both.
Because both come into play when these disagreements bubble up. What triggered this topic was a new study. Researchers at BYU, we should say, joined a multi-state study on financial perceptions, both real and imagined, and how those perceptions hurt couples. I know you looked over the research. Did anything jump out at you?
Yeah, isn't that so fun about that one statement? I think we're going to put it up. Stop thinking your wife is bad with money, right? That was the greatest stress for men, is if they perceived their wife was a spender. And the greatest stress for women, if they had a husband who perceived them as a spender. That was painful for them.
So they're going into the marriage without any data or facts thinking, my wife can't do it, my wife can't manage.
It is the perception. It's really not even the circumstance. You can change the circumstance. Let's say both people spend equally or save equally, and you still have that misperception.
Why do you think it's so strong?
Interesting,
why do you think that perception is there?
You know, I don't know if it goes back to traditional values of men often going to work. It's not that way, I know, today so much. And then women staying at home. They're both consumers. I really don't know what it is, but that's the big trip up. And I also think about our marriage research, though, that when you think about the health of a marriage, is it about husbands or wives? Who's primarily the leader determining the health of a marriage? Do you remember we talked about that? It's husbands. So whatever husbands are doing really is paramount in a marriage.
And the research proves that.
Fascinating, yes. Okay. Yes. So I wonder if this has something to do with it.
Ties into that idea. Can we change that? Should we be trying to change that?
Yes, of course, of course. There's the math and there's the meaning of money, and we need to look at both.
One way you say we can do that is, or start that conversation at least, is to identify your hidden money map. Explain this concept.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. So let's say we have a couple. And she really loves to buy organic fruits and vegetables at Whole Foods, right? So she likes to spend a little bit more money. And he thinks going to Nordstrom's, buying a hand-painted silk tie, which is the cost of a plane ticket, is no problem. So they have this battle, they have this gridlock about where they spend their finances. So then you go a little deeper about where is this map taking us and where has it been? It's a little more subtle, but you find out that for her, she grew up with an alcoholic parent, and food wasn't always readily available, not good food. So she made this decision in her mind that, you know, when I become an adult, that's going to be different.
But again, it ties back to the emotion of her parental relationship.
The meaning of money. I am going to make sure that we have good, wholesome food to eat. And he grew up with very little means. He always had hand-me-downs, was always teased about his clothing from his peers. So he made, again, that mental note, like, boy, it's going to be different when I'm an adult. I'm going to buy finer clothing, even if I had to eat mac and cheese at night. You know, so you start to understand their differences. And once they can hear each other out, then there's a bit more understanding, and then we can get down to the math of it once we understand the meaning.
It's the fact that dollars mean different things to different people. Yep. $1 to him is a different dollar to her, at least spent differently and perceived differently. Money means different things.
That's right.
Is it ever too late to write your own money laws as a couple?
Not at all. I think you need to write your money laws. We have some examples of them that we can put up for our viewers. But I think it's very interesting to think about you know, what I need from you and what you need from me, and sometimes it's really quite different. So do we have those laws?
Yeah, so examples of broken money laws. The first one, if you didn't stick to the budget, then you don't care about me.
Right. If you didn't stick to the budget, and we can just kind of go through these. So you start to hear a meaning, or if you buy another expensive toy, instead of taking me on vacation, then you really don't love me. You really don't care about me. If you spend another $300 shopping on our children's education, then you don't care about our children or their education. So you start to really see these. So each of you write down 3 money laws and discuss them with each other, and you start to see, that's where I'm missing the mark with you. So even use you statements. Just, you know, throw out all the basic rules of I statements and just say, this is what I really mean. You know, or when you and I can give generously to some kind of humanitarian effort, then I feel really happy.
Give us some examples in a positive marriage money laws that might work for a couple?
So those are the broken ones, and those are probably the ones that you really want to focus on. But there's another test that couples can take. Do we have time to go into that?
Oh, sure.
I love the Gottman test. My husband and I did it the other night, the meaning of money in marriage. Right? So that's where you start to get down to the more the positive things.
Okay.
The broken laws are where, like, you know, if you do this, then I do that.
We're looking at some of the positive money laws, like if you take me on a date, then I will feel loved.
Oh, okay, great. That's another good example. I forgot we had those. If you contribute to the Red Cross, then we feel helpful to those in need. And then the last one, if you save $500 this month, then I'll feel that you care about me and our finances. So isn't that interesting how personal it is?
It is really personal, isn't it? And ties to different beliefs and value systems. But this test that you bring to our attention can help us get to the root of that then?
I recommend that every couple take it. It's from the Gottman Institute. And if you really want to get down to the basics of, wow, what does this mean to you versus what does it mean to you, you really have the answers. So it's quite fun. You know, something that was an aha for me is on the very, first question, something about, does money make you feel nurtured and cared about? It's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly why I had the breakdown that I did. My husband works for an airline, and you know what comes with that benefit is flying standby, which is highly overrated. And I don't really have that kind of lifestyle where I can wait for plane after plane after plane until I get home.
Right.
And I remember being in San Francisco with Ben when we were newly married, and just tears started streaming down my face, and I thought, what a spoiled brat that I'm not wanting to take this free flight, but I just had to get home. You know, I had clients the next day, and I was almost having a panic attack. And I couldn't understand it until I realized, oh, that really does mean about nurturing. We had the money to buy a ticket. I really wanted to buy a ticket, and he was feeling more frugal because of his benefits. Flying standby. So we start to understand each other. It's like, oh, I get you a little bit more. It's not that you're being obstinate or resistant. It's that you just come from a different background.
How can we take this test? How can we access this quiz?
It's going to be on our website, but the meaning of money in marriage is what it's titled. And I would love for every couple to take it. It's just like 4 handouts. You get down to money laws, and you really start to understand having a conversation about this. Nice. Because it's usually about our dreams, our fears, and our inadequacies. It's not about the dollars.
What a great conversation, Liz. We'll be taking that ourselves. Mark and I will. Thank you so much.
You'll have some fun with it. My pleasure.
We appreciate it. Great to have you.